You want to improve spinning reel performance on your fishing trips in order to spend more time catching fish and less time fussing with tackle. Spinning reels that are not properly maintained tend to produce more wind knots, cast shorter distances, and have a shorter service life. At the marina, on YouTube, and abroad, I see a lot of poorly spooled spinning reels on people's boats. If they got that all-important detail wrong, then what else are they getting wrong? Probably a lot. So in this video, you'll discover how to get the most out of your spinning reel. And that is important not just from a performance aspect, but also because how your tackle looks immediately says so much about your skill level as an inshore angler. For example, if I'm at the dock and I see a boat full of half-full spools, mismatched rods, and hooks secured on guide inserts, then I know that boat probably isn't really bringing the bacon home. Well, if that's you, then know that there's no judgment here, just friendly pointers to get your tackle squared away. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you have paired your spinning reel with the correct rod. Is your spinning reel mounted on a spinning rod? I know that this is obvious and a very basic thing, but I see it regularly enough that it's worth mentioning here. Casting rods aren't meant to handle fishing lines stripping off a spinning reel because the bottommost guide is too small to feed the outgoing line on a cast. You will end up with more wind knots, tangles, and overall shorter casting distances. So do yourself a favor and get a good spinning rod, like what I recommend in my guide to my favorite spinning combo, which by the way, I have that live on my website. You'll find it linked below. I don't have a video for it yet on this channel, so be sure to subscribe so you know when that one goes live. If I could give you a simple and fast recommendation right now, it would be like a 7 to 7.5 foot long, medium to medium heavy, fast action spinning rod. Fill your spool all the way. The second thing you want to do is ensure that your spool is full. While the pairing of casting spinning tackle is a less than common goober move, you really don't have to look far to find spinning reels that are only half full. Doing so results in decreased casting performance, not to mention the reel also winds slower because the spool diameter is significantly reduced. When you spool your reel, fill it to the brim. If you don't, then outgoing line will rub against the edge of the spool, creating friction and shortening your cast. A shorter cast means you cover less water. Covering less water results in catching fewer fish. It's that simple. Remove twist from your fishing line. Third, you want to remove twist from your fishing line. And my favorite way to do that is with a boat drag. It's simple. You remove your lure or rig from your fishing line and let it drag behind the boat as it's idling forward. You're doing this with literally just a naked line. And I like to let out like at least 3/4 of the spool, and as water runs over the line, the twist will be removed. Let it drag for a couple minutes, then reel it in and let it pack evenly onto the spool. The reason you don't want twist is that it causes line to fold upon itself, tangle, and create those dreaded wind knots when casting. You can spend time picking out wind knots or you can spend time catching fish. After that, you want to regularly de-twist your fishing line at least every couple months or whenever you see fit. And my way of going about this is I like to do a boat drag at the end of the fishing trip so it's done before I get back to the dock, and especially before I become tempted to rush home instead of taking care of my tackle. Also, quick sidebar. In the future, I will be making a separate video on how to remove line twists if you don't have a boat or if you don't have access to one. So be sure to subscribe so you know when that one drops. Don't secure hooks on the line guide insert. Doing so is a great way to scratch the insert, which is a very sensitive component of your spinning combo, which will in turn scratch and fray line on each cast. Should that happen, or if it's already happened, the line guide just needs to be replaced. So local tackle stores like Gus's Tackle and Slidell, they can do that for you. But the very best thing to do is to avoid this inconvenience in the first place by using the provided hook keeper or securing the hook to the frame of the line guide. Avoid ghost drag, use a monofilament backer. Ghost drag results from braided fishing line that isn't properly secured to the spool. This happens when budding inshore anglers tie their main line directly to the spool without an additional way to secure it. With time, the braid becomes loose and will circle the spool on the retrieve rather than winding the line. A fish can even strip line off the spool without activating the drag, no matter how much you reel against it. This leaves you with grabbing the braid to stop the fish, which is a great way to cut your hand. The best solution from years of experience fishing across Louisiana's coast, is to use a monofilament backer, specifically 12-pound test monofilament secured to the spool using an arbor knot, then secured to the braided mainline using a uni-to-uni knot. That's what I recommend. You can use whatever knot you like, just don't get sucked into the black hole of knot nerdery. It's just unnecessary. And another reason to use a monofilament backer is to take up that amount of the spool that you're not going to use. And so you use less braided fishing line that you can now distribute across more fishing reels or just have for use in the future. So wind that monofilament backer around the spool at least a few times to get a good grip on it. Mono stretches and grips, whereas braid does not. Plus it's cheap to use and saves you money by reducing the amount of braid needed to fill the spool. No, you don't need 200 yards of braid to catch fish, not even large bull reds or jack crevalle. Now I do understand that some people like to use things like duct tape or super glue to secure their fishing line. That's just going to muck up your spool. It's just not taking good care of your spool. You're getting a bunch of crap down there that you don't need. Yes, some spools do come with a rubber strip to get around this whole problem of ghost drag, but that goes back to what I said before. You don't need 200-300 yards of braided fishing line on your spool in order to catch fish. That's line you can put on other spools or save for the future. That and braided fishing line doesn't pack as well as monofilament. So if you have monofilament underneath that braided fishing line, then you're going to have a better packed spool. Don't reel against drag. Look, it's not a winch, it's a reel. The proper way to fight fish is to pull back on them with a rod, then drop it down and forward, introducing slack, and as you do, reel that slack in. Novices tend to reel against the fish even when it makes a run that peels off drag. This is a great way to prematurely wear out that reel and to introduce line twist into the spool. Close the bail with your hand. Novices also tend to close the bail by turning the reel handle. This is a mistake that can introduce line twist into your spool and is unnecessarily tough on your spinning reel. A simple way to improve spinning reel performance is to close the bail with your offhand after a cast is complete. Freshwater rinse plus lube. Never, not ever, should you use a pressure washer to hose off your reels. The best way to maintain them is to give them a freshwater rinse after each fishing trip, especially if you've been to saltier destinations on Louisiana's coast like Grand Isle. After that, most spinning reels feature some kind of lubrication port you can unscrew and put a few drops of reel oil in. And if this is outside your mechanical inclination, then I strongly suggest bringing your reels to a local tackle store like what I said before, Gus's Tackle in Slidell, in order to get them serviced. I usually do this during the 2 times of year fishing is slowest, which here in Louisiana are February and August. And that's just a handful of tips and advice. If you've got more, then please use the comment section below. It's great to see like-minded anglers pitch in with their own tips and tricks. And now that you understand how best to manage your spinning reel performance, you may be wondering hey, what should I tie on the scene to catch some speckled trout? Well, that's what you'll find in this video right here. Tight lines, and thank you for watching.